All right, great. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Dreamforce session on integrating external services with Chatter. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for being here this morning. It's pretty early. 8 a.m. is not an easy task, so we really appreciate it. First off, let's start with some introductions. My name is Jaime Solari.
I'm Alejandro Horne.
And I am Dagoberto Suarez.
And we work at Octana, a professional services organization focused on Salesforce. So the Salesforce products we're going to be covering today are Chatter, Salesforce, specifically Force.com, and Talk. Talk is a product we developed, and it's basically a Chatter client that is available for download on the AppExchange. So that's a shameless plug there. So let's start by setting ourselves some goals for this session. And the goal is basically to improve the experience with Salesforce Chatter by using Giphies, emojis, reactions, natural language. And in that sense, we hope to make the Office chat experience a little bit more enjoyable and entertaining. So here's a screenshot of what the current Chatter UI looks like. And here's a screenshot of what our Salesforce Chatter UI looks like. By the way, this Chatter client is available on the AppExchange, and you can use it with a web browser client, or you can also use native clients on iOS and Android. So you can get those on Google Play and on App Store. So in terms of third-party external services, we're going to be covering Giphy.com for animated GIFs. We're going to be covering Bravey for natural language processing. And we're going to be covering OneSignal for push notification systems. So the first external service we're going to be covering is Giphy.com. Giphy.com is a GIF library that can be leveraged within conversations. And it's a pretty extensive library, and it's very easy for a developer to integrate this within their conversation applications. And as you can see from the screenshot here, the user experience is very simple. It's just /Giphy and the name of the image you want to invoke. And the previous slide was an image of Talk, and this is an image of what the same command looks like in regular Chatter. So now we're going to go over a quick demo on what the Giphy invocation looks like.
This is the UI. First, as we mentioned, we're going to integrate Giphy.com external service into our Chatter client, Talk. To invoke this service, we're going to type /Giphy plus the word we wanted to look for, in this case, Dreamforce. As you can see, when I share this post, if the internet works, I get animated Giphies. We can use Giphies on post, comment, and personal conversations. Here is what it looks like on personal conversations. Now Dagoberto will explain how is the implementation code.
Okay.
Well, that's a great Giphy.
Well, to post a feed, we create with the Giphy, we create a variable with the Giphy API endpoint plus the Giphy key and the text we want to search. Next, we execute the request, and with the result, we create an object where we save the address of the GIF. This object is added into an array where we have all the values of the feed stored. And finally, we post the feed with the address of the animated image as a link.
Great. So that was basically Giphy. You can go to developers.giphy.com to find all the information on their APIs and how to integrate it with your applications. So the second external service that we're going to cover is Bravey. So Bravey is a natural language JavaScript API. And we're going to be using it in conjunction with JSForce. JSForce is another JavaScript API that interacts with Salesforce APIs as a single point of contact. So our talkbot basically enables you to read and write to Salesforce objects, be able to perform queries on standard objects like accounts, cases, campaigns, opportunities, as well as any custom object that you might have in your org. And here are some examples of what these interactions might look like. You can ask things like, I need to get all cases, I need to list all the opportunities over a certain amount of dollar amount, or I need to create a poll. So here's a UI screenshot of the bot, and in here, in this example, we're listing all the opportunities over 800,000, and we get a couple of results back. So now we'll see it in action.
Well, this is the UI of the bot within our Charter client, Talk, which we call TalkBot. First, I'm going to show you how to list standard object. This is just type in like list. I'm going to use add to get the help, and it's going to be like contact, just to get a list of the contacts of the org. We can use it for cases, if I don't miss it. We are also able to look for a specific object using natural language. This will be typing something like get opportunities with amount below 40,000. Well, if I don't miss it. $40,000.
We're running out of business, it seems. We're going to go broke pretty soon.
We are also able to look for list views. This is just typing list views. We get a list of the list views that we have associated in the org. We can see all of them are clickable. If I click on one of those, we can access to their details. We are also have more details just over here. Now, Dagoberto will dive into this.
Well, our bot uses RevAS, as you know, for natural language processing, or NLP for short. There are two types of NLP objects, fuzzy and sequential. Both types are trained by samples. Fuzzy doesn't follow an order to identify the values in the sentence and doesn't need to find all the values in the sentence. And the other way, sequentially, strictly follows an order to identify the values in the training, and all the values have to be defined. In this case, we are going to use the fuzzy type. To identify values in the sentence, we create entities. In this case, we are going to use a string entity recognizer to recognize or find the custom and standard object names in a sentence by inserting for each object a list of synonyms we want to recognize. In this case, we are going to use the label, the name, and the plural label, and add them to the NLP object. There are other types of entity recognizers in RevAS, such as a date entity recognizer, an email entity recognizer, and a number entity recognizer. Next, we train the NLP object by adding a document. What is a document? A document is a simple sentence where we define the entities we want to recognize and its order. In this case, we want to recognize an action, a quantity, and the object. This sentence is also related to a name of the intent of the sample. Then, when the user sends a text, the NLP object tests the message and calls a method with a result to post a message with the information the user asks. This method executes an action depending on what the NLP object recognizes in the intent, along with the entities, the values of the entities they found. And finally, post the message with the result.
Great. So the third and final external service that we're going to be covering is how push notifications are implemented, which is using OneSignal. So OneSignal is used in order to notify you if you get a new message, if you are mentioned by someone else, or if you're added to a group, for example. And here, now we're going to go a little bit over how this was implemented.
Well, in this case, to send a push notification to OneSignal, we create a post request with the OneSignal API endpoint plus our API key. Next, we create an object with the message, the title, the ID of the application we have in OneSignal, the optional data that we want to send, and a list of users who will receive the push notification. This object is serialized into JSON, set the body request with it, and finally send the push notification to OneSignal.
Cool. So now we're going to go over a couple of internal services that are also integrated into Chatter. And the first one is our SOQL queries, and the other one is reactions. So SOQL queries are basically custom SOQL queries that are stored in an object. And it's basically a pairing between the invocation and the query itself. So in this example that we see here on the screen, it's, the invocation would be what birthdays are coming up this month, and that in turn would trigger the execution of the query, select name, birthday from contacts equal to this month. And here's a screenshot of what that invocation looks like. And on the right hand side, you have what the custom object deployed here would look like as well. And here's a quick demo on how that works.
All right, this is the bot. Here we have a list of the demo of the service that we have. What I'm going to do is I'm going to log in into Salesforce. Here we have a list of the service, like we actually made it. I'm going to set up a quick text, links, and queries. We have 3 different kinds of them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a quick text. The answer will be what's going on today. And the answer will be Dreamfest. I'm going to save it, and I'm just going to reload it, the bot from here. And what we have over here is just go to talk. And as we can see, we got a service right here. When I just ask what's going on tonight, the talk will answer Dreamfest. Now, Dagoberto will explain the implementation code.
Well, sorry. In this case, we are going first to create a Salesforce connection with the URL, the access token, and the Salesforce API version that we want to use. Then we execute the query that we have stored in the custom object that we have, and post a message with the result. If there is no result, we notify the user that there is no result. That's it.
Great. And the final service that we're going to be integrating today is our reactions. So reactions are basically stored in custom objects as well, and then they're associated with feeds and private conversations, and then surfaced in the UI through Unicode. So next up, we're going to show some details on how this is implemented.
Well, for reactions, we create another custom object where we save the ID of the feed, the Unicode of the emoji, and the user ID who will react in this case. In this snippet code, we show you how we get all the reaction of a list of feed that we send and return the records. With this record, we process it, and finally obtaining for each feed a list of reaction and the users who reacted.
Great. So that's basically it. We hope that we were able to give you some ideas on how you can adopt some strategies to spice up your Chatter org. Giphies, emojis, reactions are some of them, but there are many more. If you have any suggestions, please let us know. And I hope you can take advantage of Talk our chatter client, which is available to make your Office experience in chat more enjoyable. Thank you very much. And yeah, if you have any questions or any comments, now is the time.
No questions?
That's it?
That's it?
Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.